Let them speak. Review patterns 26. Please repeat or answer. If it had been hotter, could you have gone swimming? Could he have brought more if he had had the truck? If the doctor told you you had to lose weight, how would you do it? What should you have told him to do? Had they refused to do it, would you have punished them? Would you have to borrow money if you needed to buy a new car? Who could have finished making it for supper? Should they have rested before going? What would you have eaten if you had gone out to breakfast with them? If he hadn't practiced, could he have done it? What would you have done had she told you she didn't feel like going out with you? Would you buy it if it cost $10.50? Had she forgot to do it, would you have been disappointed? If he was stronger, could he have lifted it? If she had another baby, would you be surprised? If you were bored, what would you do? Could she have worked there if she had graduated from college? If you died now, would you go to heaven? Wouldn't she like it if she tried it? Wouldn't she have liked it if she had been there? Wouldn't they have invited her if they had had the party? Who could have cleaned it if they were around? When would you have told her if it was a secret? Where would they have bought a new house if they had had a lot of money? Who would have played football in college if he had been faster? If you use that, would your hair look nicer? If you wanted to lose weight, would you be able to eat that? If you came to Chicago, what would you see first? If the kids began complaining, would you call their mother? Would you get better if you took that medicine? Could you have talked to her if she had come? If she lived next to you, how would you feel? Would it taste better if your mother made it? If it went on sale, how many bottles would you buy? Would you ask her out if she was single? Could they have eaten it all if they had been hungry? If they asked you to barbecue, what would you make? Would you tell her the truth if she asked you about it? If you caught a cold, what medicine would you take? If you weren't able to fit in the new dress, what would you have done? Could you have seen it if you hadn't had your glasses? Had she begun talking to him, would you have been jealous? Should he have told her if he had lied? If she said you couldn't go, would you object? Could you have ridden the bike there if the weather had been nicer? Could you see better if you had newer glasses? If she made hamburgers, how many could you eat? Wouldn't she have been funny if she had been there? Would you miss her if she wasn't here? Would you get a tan if you laid on the beach? Who could have done that to her? Would she have stayed home if her husband made a lot of money? Would she had sold it if she could have made more money? What would you have done if your mother became ill? Would she have been ashamed if everyone found out? If they came out with a newer phone, would you buy it? Would you have ordered dessert if you had had time? When would she have gone back? Should they have met her at the train? If she had taken the taxi, would she have arrived on time? If they hadn't cleaned the house, Would she have gotten really upset? Would she be disappointed if you didn't do well on the test? Would you watch TV with her if the kids were sleeping? Who could have started fixing it if they had had the money? Would you be surprised if she hit him? Would you be delighted if he cleaned the house for you? Should they have eaten the cookies? Would they have found out if he hadn't said anything? Where would you have gone to school if you lived in Chicago? Would he have liked that movie if he had gone with you? Where would they have slept if they didn't have any room? Would he have been really tired if he had had to work at night? Had he gotten up early, would he have been able to go with you? If you could have one thing, what would it be? If you could live in any other country, which country would you choose? Who would have cried if they had seen that? If you exercised more, would you lose more weight? If you worked there, would you make a lot of money? Would you believe it if he told you that? Who would you help if you had the money? Should he have told everyone if he had known about it? Had she fallen down, would you have helped her? Would you have made supper if your wife had been busy? Would you have been disappointed if she hadn't shown up? Had they stolen the money, would you have called the police? Would you tell him to come back if you saw him? Would they have studied it if they had gone to the school? Shouldn't she have been more thoughtful toward them? If you didn't have enough time to do it, could you have finished it later? Would they have liked it? Would you have given her a ride if her car had broken down? Would you have shared food with him if he didn't have any food? Could she have showed him how to do it had you asked her? What would she have done if she was free? Would they have taken a walk if they had been there? Who could meet you if you got there early? Should he try if he gets the chance? If they don't believe you, what would you do? Would they have been disappointed if they hadn't seen it? Would she have left if he had called? If he said to bring it, would they have brought it? If she isn't able to get there, would you be able to help? Would they have tried to call him if they had had a phone? Could she help him if he asked her? If it were snowing, would you go skiing? If you had enough money, would you buy a new car? If you had enough money, would you buy a new house? Could she have made it if she had had all the food? Where could you have brought them if the weather was better? Shouldn't they have told him about it? Would they have known about it? Wouldn't she have made supper if she knew they were coming? Would you take care of the kids if your mother got sick? If she felt better, would she have taken the kids there? Shouldn't they have tried if they knew she was coming? If it cost $200 to get, would you be able to afford it? Would you have flown there if she really needed you? Had he called, what would you have told him? Could you have given it to him had he asked you for it? Would he have left them if they had complained? What would you build if you had a lot of money? Had your father been sick, could you have stayed with him? What would you say if they tried to cheat on the test? Would you have been mad if she had hit him? Where would you have taken a vacation if you had had the time? If they have won, Would they have had a party? Would you have gone to the party if your girlfriend said she would go? Shouldn't they have paid for it? Wouldn't she have apologized? Could they have understood it if you had told them the whole story? When would you leave if you had the money? If she could sing like that, would she be famous? If they wanted to buy it, would you let them do it? If she was interested in staying there, could you pay for it? Would you have told her to stay here if she dropped by? If they had gone dancing, would you have gone? If they saw you doing that, would you be embarrassed? What would you have eaten if you had gone there? Who would have helped you if you were in trouble? Couldn't he have helped her if you asked him to do it? Had they begun singing, would you have told them to stop? Who would you have married if you could choose anyone? If she had talked to you, would you have gotten mad? Would you have asked her what she was doing if you had seen her? If you fell in love with her, what would you do first? Where would you have gone if you had to get food? Shouldn't they have met her? If he bought it, could you borrow it sometimes? When could he have brought it if he had had time? If it had snowed, would you have gone skiing? Who would he have brought out to dinner if he had more money? If she made supper, would you be interested in going over to her house? Had they told you a lie, would you have been disappointed? Could she have met him if she had had her car? Where would you have gone on vacation if you were off 4 days? Would he have corrected her if she had made a mistake? What would they have done if they ran out of money? Would her mother have helped her if she didn't have enough money? How often would you go there if she needed you? Would you take his money if he offered to help you? If she said she couldn't go, would you believe her? If she was free, could she have helped? If he kept asking, would you have told him to be quiet? If you wanted to go out dancing, who would you go out with? How much would you give her if she asked you for money? How many of the books would you give him if he wanted to study that? If some of the kids got sick, would you cancel the class? Did she say she would take it there for you? Did she ask you if he should have gone there? If you broke it, could you replace it? Had they came to eat, what could you have given them? If she were nicer, would he try to help her? Shouldn't they have told him if he had asked? Would she have forgiven her if she had said she was sorry? If you flew there, what airline would you take? If you heard them arguing, would you leave? If it was as expensive as this, would you buy it? If you heard that song, would you start to dance? Where should they have put it? What would you have said to her if she was here? If she ignored you, would you have been upset? If she didn't appreciate it, would you do it again for her? Where would you buy it on the internet if you needed to get it? Would you tell her not to do it if she came here? Wouldn't she be happier if she had that? Should he have told her before she came? If the plants died, would she blame you? If you could be her, would you be happy? Would they have called if there had been a problem? Who could have called if they had needed to get help? Would he be able to fix it if it was broken? Could he begin working if he got better? When would they have come if they had the money? How long would they have stayed if they didn't have to go back to work? Would he have been there at 6:15 if there hadn't been an accident? Who would have dropped by if you were barbecuing chicken? Could she have helped you to finish it if she had been there? Would you teach your younger brother English if you spoke better?